I thought I'd try something a little bit different. I'm crocheting, and I'm leaning back on my chair, and this is the Crochet Along project that Marissa has started. I've got 2 strips done. I'm now on my 3rd strip, and it's summer and I'm sitting under a blanket. Yes, I think I'm crazy. Hubby is getting pizza started, so I'm just going to take a little bit of time while he's doing that. Catch up with you guys and see if this works. The last couple of weeks, I know I haven't done a whip and chat for a couple of weeks because I was busy with work, and then there was the preparation for the DP-a-thon, and I wanted to have the preparation for that. I haven't actually looked back on that video to see how it was. Hang on just a second, I'll just turn this. Sophie's watching Thomas the Tank Engine, but I don't want to get a copyright strike on some stupid tooting sounds in the background. So yeah, working crazy hours. We had a long weekend here in Australia last weekend, and it was chock-a-block full of videos with the DP-a-thon, and then 1 extra day off, so I got to see all the Sunday videos on Monday and got to be a part of the wrap-up there. So that was really cool. Lots and lots of creators. There is a playlist. If you go to my playlists, you will see the January DP-a-thon, but Marissa, the Crafty Heifer, has it saved originally on her playlist, so you will be kind of piggybacking on that. I have only ever done one other crochet project. It was an amigurumi. It was a little red apple that was tiny. It was smaller than my fist. I don't have huge hands, but it was smaller than my fist, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I had a friend come and sit next to me showing me, the magic circle, and showing me how to do it, and eventually I started to get the hang of it. Finished the apple, surprised that it was only like 1 inch high, and gave it to the teacher, and the teacher actually said she'd never been given an apple for a teacher. I thought that was pretty sad. So yeah, that was my only ever other foray into crocheting. So doing this, I started it by watching Marissa's video, and then I watched it about 3 or 4 more times, and I tried crocheting, and I'm stopping, and I'm starting, and I'm frogging, which is ripping it back, I don't know, I think 10 times before I got the first corner going. And then I made the mistake of going onto Instagram and seeing Creative Mayhem's piece, and her edges were just crisp and perfect, and I'm going, oh my god, what am I doing so wrong? Anyway, I kept going. I survived changeover with colours, and then I decided it wasn't wide enough, so I added a colour, and yeah, I am absolutely loving crocheting, at least this double crochet. Yes, I am loving corner to corner. Herringbone, which is what this is, and yeah, this has actually been keeping my nights busy, either on the couch or here leaning back into my chair. To fill you in on some health stuff, I found that working at my computer desk, I'm hurting my back. I'm getting computer strain from, I don't know, typing, I suppose, poor posture and everything else. So yeah, having to find something that is a little bit different than coming home and then doing diamond painting or computer stuff, and yeah, I've been quite sore, so hence me being off some of the regular programming, I suppose. Yeah, but this, yeah, really enjoying this. If you are going to do this, it started off with 4 colours and 1 neutral. You need 4 200-gram balls of double thick yarn, 8 ply, and you need 2 of the neutral. Because I added a colour, I've got an extra neutral, but I think I'm going to run out anyway. But I've got a Spotlight store that I can go and get more wool at. Hopefully it's going to be stocked. One of the girls is only doing it with 2 colours, so you still need 6 balls to do what's meant to ultimately be a lap blanket. It is a 9-week project. I will link the Crafty Heifer in the description. But I think she's extended it already by 1 week because people were catching up to this prior to this point, to the end of the 2nd strip. And if we felt we were confident enough to start with the 3rd strip, we could, and I was, and I am, and I hope I'm not going to make too big of a mess of it. But I'll give it a go. Look, if I have to rip it, I have to rip it. So that's kind of where I'm up to. Lots of things changing this week. It's been such a busy week. Sorry, I'm trying to count my stitches. I need to go back 1 more. The only thing I was worried about when I was doing this as a whip and chat was whether or not I would keep my spot and be able to do my stitches well enough, or I would make a mistake and have to rip it. So if I have to rip it, we'll probably keep you with me, and we'll see how we go. Mrs. Coffee put a challenge out, and I would reiterate this. There aren't enough whip and chats out in the community at the moment. There isn't enough to kind of keep people ticking along. It's a lot of lives, it's a lot of unboxings, and I know I'm guilty of the unboxings. But the challenge would be to do a 1-hour whip and chat if you can. If you can't, we'll do a shorter whip and chat. But the challenge was to do a 1-hour whip and chat. So grab your projects and join along, and hopefully, I'm seeing the mic giving me enough sound, but it may be a little bit low. I'm leaning quite far back. I'm not as close as I usually am to my mic. But I hope it's going to be loud enough for you. And I will keep going with my crochet. What else are we up to? My son had his birthday. I have a very bad habit of forgetting his birthday. I set up reminders on my phone, and my reminders didn't go off this year. So my other son was sitting on the couch and he goes, "Did you remember so-and-so's birthday?" And I was like, oops. Tried ringing him and the kid didn't answer. I was like, oh God. So I sent him a message saying happy birthday, and he called me back the next morning instead. And I was like, "Did you forget?" And he's like, no. Yeah, sorry. Sort of. Kinda. I knew it was, and then it was just, yeah, busy work. He hadn't done anything exciting. He was just working for his birthday too. That's what happens when you get over 20. We have a wedding in the family this year. We've got to plan a trip up to the mainland. So that's going to be interesting. We have had some stinking hot weather in the last week. We have total fire bans when it's hot and windy in our state, and the total fire ban was announced, for Thursday and Friday, and the heat got up to 35 on Thursday, which would be about 100, maybe 95 to 100. and on Friday it hit 41, which is 104 to 110, give or take. It didn't get down below 25 overnight, which again is about 80s. So yeah, it's quite insane. My husband, God bless his socks, sets the house up for air conditioning. We keep the curtains closed, and the house was lovely and cool, and my office was freezing. They're working through the office on the air conditioning system, and it was really cold. Actually, one day, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I was in the office, went out at lunchtime to get some food, and I was nearly shivering with the cold when I went into the heat, and it was warm air, and Tassie doesn't normally get warm air. Normally we get a breeze and it's just the stinking hot burning sun, but this time the air was warm, and I could actually feel how chilled I had been from sitting in the air conditioning, just with bare ankles, with my flats and skirt on. So yeah, that was interesting. Not what I expected. So yeah, that's what's happening with work. I covered for a different section during the week. With my back, I had an occupational therapist come in and check me out, and she said, yeah, you're going to need physio. I was like, oh yay. GP says I've got to have an MRI, see what's going on with that. Apparently my massage therapist thinks my muscles are pulling so hard that it's pulling my spine out of alignment, and it's like, oh yay. Yeah, bad posture. I cross my legs, I curl up when I can, and yes, so my poor old body is just going not happy. So I've got to learn how to be better positioned and sit better, and apparently my workstation, I was twisting at my workstation as well and not looking at the screen straight on and other things like that. So there's a few things to tweak. There's equipment that I might need to buy, like, well, not work will do it for me in ergonomic desks and chairs and mice and whatever else I need, so that'll be interesting. Everything to get used to. I had a standing sitting desk when I was in another role in the job, and yeah, I didn't tend to use it all that often. Very, very different in that job. I was tethered to a desk on a phone line, so you couldn't really walk around, so standing in one place was a little bit kind of awkward. I'm a touch typist, so typing standing is a bit weird too. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the experts all suggest. I've been tired, sore, and therefore not making lunches for myself as I usually do. Tongue-tied. So I've been eating takeaway during the week, and of course, what is it with it? You eat something that you might not normally eat, and the body just goes and sucks on the weight. But you eat very little some other time, and the body doesn't lose the weight. And it's like, oh man, this is harsh. And age and metabolism slowing down, and yeah. And my clothes are all not fitting, so therefore I'm not feeling quite so comfy as usual, even though I don't wear pants. Mrs. Coffee, I don't wear pants. I wear leggings. Yeah. And I'm tired, and you don't need to be hearing all about me. I'm tired and grumpy. Anyway, I went and got my nails done today. Dropped my boy into the city and went and got my nails done, so I kind of went to get my nails done thinking, oh, I might do something for Valentine's. Let's do something kind of red. We were chatting, and my nail technician, I said, let's go onto Pinterest, see what's on Pinterest. Opened up Pinterest and came up with these? They might not zoom terribly well, but they're butterflies and ombres and stuff. So yeah, I really like them. A little bit more subtle. There's glitter on them, and we put some. We did kind of look at the nails that they showed, and it was rhinestones and sparkly things. But I don't like the rough nails because the gems sit proud of the nails, and I'm too tactile. It needs to be smooth. So we just went with some glitter hexagons on the butterflies. But if I can remember, I will put a still image into my post editing and show you my nails, because I do like to get lots of comments on my nails. And yeah, I have quite a bad habit. I used to chew my nails when I was a kid, and it took me a long time not to chew my nails, and then they'd break all the time, so I started clipping them, and then I decided, well, I'll try the acrylic-y gel kind of nails. I didn't know what they were putting on, so I went to the technicians and had a friend recommend somebody to me, so I started getting false nails put on, or not false nails, but gels or acrylics, and had the pretty nails, but I'd still chew the skin and things, and I got really stressed, so they weren't so pretty. But I'm working on it. Oops. 6. Yeah, I'm still counting with my crochet. I don't know, do you ever stop counting with crochet? But if you want to learn, Marissa has some tutorials. She's awesome to follow along with. She's been so patient. There are a few of us who've gone to her going, I've got a problem, and she'll step us through exactly what we're doing. She's been brilliant. It's been really good learning the new craft. I've made this wide enough that I can throw it onto a single bed, so it could be something that I give to Sophie, or just throw on the single bed, or just have lying around on the couch. The wool I'm using is actually, I think it's called Super Saver. It's bought from Spotlight, but it's a US style double wool, 200 grams, so they're huge balls of wool. And there's probably, I've got 5 colors, and then there's probably another 4 or 5 other colors in the range that would complement each other. And because we were doing one neutral, I chose the darker grey. I think there's a light grey, there's a black, and there's a white. I could have gone for those two. I could have had it monotone, but yeah, I decided to go for the bright colours this time around. Oops, gone too far. But if you follow us on Instagram, it's Hooked and Dangerous is the hashtag. Crochet Along, so CAL 2020 or CAL 20 may also give you some hits, but the Hooked and Dangerous is one we came up with that didn't have any other hashtags. The CAL 2020 had all sorts of weird things attached to that hashtag. It's very hard coming up with unique hashtags sometimes, but I found one. So Hooked and Dangerous is kind of sitting alongside it, because I think I'd done my first corner and felt hooked and dangerous. So yeah, it was a little bit of fun and frivolity, as I proudly showed Marissa my first triangle. But yeah, it was a huge achievement for me just to even do that much. And now look at me, I'm 2 strips and a bit done. And flying along and frogging regularly still, and I'm still catching up, and my intention really is to do 2 or 3 chunks a day if I can, so I get a strip done in a week, give or take. I can't recall if it's this week I've got a completely mental week, I've gone too far, so I forget we're talking, or the week after is completely mental week after work with appointments. It's like, ugh, I'm just going to be spinning. I put a post on Mrs. Crochet's group because Rachel was showing the wildlife interest. There was a link on there for the Adopt a Koala program. If anyone's interested in supporting the wildlife in Australia with the bushfires, there are a lot of koalas that you can adopt. You can do a yearly adoption. I think the fee was about $40. And you get your name up on the koala, and I think you get a certificate or something to say that you've sponsored. So I will try and remember to put that link up. But if not, it's in Mrs. Crochet and Coffee and Rachel Ray's Facebook group. Come along there and check out some koalas, because there was lots and lots of koalas that could be sponsored or adopted. As animals get found, they are getting looked after, they're getting rehabilitated, and it's one of the many things. I'm sure there are a heap of wildlife refuges that you could help. There's Wires in Australia, Australia Zoo. Now, what? No, I've gone too far. Okay, so that is a join. Okay, now that should give me 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But that's not giving me a lump. I need to finish it. Marissa, I don't know what to do. Hang on, what have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm 1 too high. Okay, so I need to finish it up here. See what I mean? Have to frog. And I'll count it when I get up the top. And every other one I've started in the middle. I think it's just this one that's going to stop at the end. Okay, so we stick that in there. I'll count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah. Alright, so I need to finish it here. Pull it through. And snip. Slide that out. Don't worry about that. Okay. So there is the start of my, this is the bottom of the strip, that's the second strip, and then this is the top of the third strip. They don't match up colour to colour, they're not meant to. So I'm going for the colour after the pale pink and after the other pink, so I'm on to burgundy. I've got my bag of wool down here. I pull from the center so that the wool stays in situ, and make a slip knot. I don't know why I found slip knots so complicated before. Excuse me while I take some tea. I found slip knots really complicated, when I was learning some other method, but this method is super easy. So attaching it, then I will lay the tail down, because what I do, it has been incorporated in as I go. So with this one, I've got the 1, 2, 3, and then I'll lay it down here, and I pull that through. Then we flip it, and it was the flipping that was throwing me when I started the last time. I lay that down against it. 1, 2, 3. So that makes my angle. And now this is where I catch the tail in. Now Marissa does this so much better. Let me see if I can get close without getting too, so I'm doing the double and the tail is sitting in there, so it kind of gets woven into it. So it just means that I don't need to go back afterwards. Drop the stitch. So by no means am I an expert, but there's my 3, and I can trim that tail then when I get going. Now, have I done that right? I don't know if I have. I don't think I have, because of where I'm starting. I might need to start at the other end. See, this is where it's all, I'm working it out, I'm trying. Okay, so if I started here, what do I need to do? That would be a continuation, so I need to start 3 in here, and then I'll just start it that way. Yep, that would work as well. So catch it on that corner instead. Lay that down, because you've got to work into, oops, you've got to work into the chain spaces, they call it. 1, 2, 3. And if I had continued with the grey, this, well, it would have been the automatic spot where it would have continued. And maybe it's after this colour gets added that it'll settle down. I'm not, we'll figure it out. What's on one? Right, because then I can join it up to the next chain space and hide things. So I get the tail, pull that through, pull this, pull it together. One, two, three. Yeah, I'm finding my lines are not quite as square as I saw Marissa's doing. I've got a mist. One. Right, there we go. That's a bit better. Marissa had a pattern kind of grid that she had done, what was it, Stitchy something, Stitchy Net. You could make your own pattern. It was really, really cool. But when I added my colour, it would have meant a lot of extra work to put my extra colour in, so I decided I would just add it by pen. And I took a photo on my camera, my phone, of the wool in the bag, and then went into Piccolage, I think it was, and added text over it and label each colour. So I've got A, B, C, D, and then the neutral was just left blank. I should check. I think that's 3. And this works up so quick. I'm quite amazed how quick this works up. Even for me, who is new to this kind of thing. I'm not the fastest knitter, and I certainly can't do knitting that I'm not watching. So while I've got TV on in the background, I can't watch the screen and knit or crochet. I can't do it by feel. I constantly stuff up, like I've just gone too far there. But the other thing I found is I have to make sure I've got those 8 knobbles. If I go too far, I end up at 9 and have to rip it back as well. And that's, yeah. It's just like, okay, come on, Pippa, pay attention. But I think I'm getting there. But yeah, summertime working under this, yeah, much more suited to a winter time, which is why Marissa is doing it winter time in the States. If you haven't already been made aware, Marissa is running a retreat in Texas this year. Contact Marissa for details on the Crafty Heifer on YouTube, or she is also on Facebook as Marissa McCartney. Ashley Colmar is also involved, I think, in some of the organisation with it now. But if not, message Ashley or Crafts with Crashly, and she can pass on the details to Marissa, or she can connect you if need be. But that would be really cool. Anyone in Texas, which I know is a huge state, apparently it's like 9 hours to cross the state one direction and 11 the other way. It's like, whoa, that's a big, big, big place. So yes, that is an option for this year if you can't make it to Ireland, to Rachel's retreat in September. I think it's in the middle of the year though, but don't quote me on that one. They do need to have numbers confirmed. It is a 3-day retreat, I believe. It's something like that, $300 to go. So it's really affordable. It's not hopefully going to be too out of budget for anyone. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're starting the next line. Lay that one down. Go through. Flip. Always got to remember to flip. I wasn't flipping it, I think, the first time, and when I did the join, and it was like, oh my gosh, I think I must have ripped it, I don't know, 10 times again, just going, no, this isn't working, this is the wrong corner. Where do I go? But I figured it out. And it's flowed from there. I'm quite a muscle memory kind of person, but 3D visual as well. So, yeah, this has gone too far again. This has been kind of cool because I can visualize what I'm doing and where I'm going, and, you know, flipping it backwards, forwards, upside down doesn't really seem to bother me. Alright, it's Saturday night. It's pizza night for us. So I'm going to get up and get pizza ready in a few minutes. I'm a barbecue pizza fan. My hubby is not, and I'm converting Sophie. I put barbecue on her pizza. So she gets everything but the pepperoni. She's not a pepperoni fan, doesn't like the spice. And when I'm making pizza, she will stand next to me and beg for bits before it gets put onto the pizza. She's funny. But quiet. She might be asleep next to me. Or she's gone to bed. Or she's causing a mess somewhere else. If you haven't tried crochet, it's faster progress than diamond painting, but it is just as repetitive, and you might find that you enjoy it more than you realize. So I would encourage you to give it a go. I've seen quite a few people talk about how easy certain stitches can be. I'm finding that the corner to corner is surprisingly easy. But initially it was really hard just to get my head around it all, so don't let the initial difficulty put you off. As I say, I mean, I probably don't come across as a complete beginner with the speed that I'm doing this, but seriously, the first crochet to corner thing I did was, this corner here. That's the first crochet I've ever done in any sizable amount, so please don't think that you can't master this. What was I going to say? Yeah, so it's something a bit different. It's something that's portable. I have actually brought this on appointments to kill some time, and I'll sit there in the doctor's surgery because they're never on time, and I will crochet the next couple of lines. I did actually bring it into work one day to do lunchtime. I don't think I ended up doing it, but I did sit down after work while I was waiting for a lift and crocheted, and had a older guy with some funky kind of hearing device hanging around his neck ask me what I was doing, and then chat to me and say, I don't suppose you get too many weird old men coming up to you and asking what you're doing and what you're stitching and stuff. But he was really cool, had a bit of a laugh with him. So yes, you do get stared at if you do this mobile, but again, don't let it put you off. Crochet and knitting is becoming really, really trendy with the young and upcoming hipster kind of crowd, so get involved, and you can make things. I mean, granny squares, I haven't tried a granny square yet. I watched a video on Slash the Stash kind of concept, where you just grab all of your old wool, and this crafter grabbed all of her greys and monotones and was making a granny square rug, and it started with the normal granny square, so the granny squares are yay big, and it started with that, and then it just grew, and it just kept going out, and eventually it would be this massive circular kind of, squared rug or blanket that was being crocheted with essentially old wool scraps and things like that from wool projects. And I did actually think, maybe I could go garage sale hunting or op shop hunting and get a whole lot of different wools. And she was using a mix of 8-ply and 4-ply, and with the 4-ply you just use 2 strands of wool at the same time, so you're blending. And it was a really, really cool idea. Some of the recycling trends that I've seen on videos have been making mats out of plastic shopping bags, where you cut it into a big long strip and then you plait it into a mat, and you can use it around the house because the plastic actually kind of crumples a bit. So it's just about reusing what you've got. It's kind of what we used to do in the 60s, 70s, 80s. You just didn't buy disposable items. You used them until you killed them, and then you rejuvenated them. Whereas in the 90s and early 2000s, everything was disposable. You couldn't buy replacement parts. You had to actually buy a brand new item, and yeah, everything just got thrown out. And then we have these amazing people who would learn how to rejuvenate stuff. So we started getting into the whole upcycling that we've kind of lost, and you'd get repurposed furniture and things like that. In Australia we've got a store called Kmart, and we've got these people who will do what's called Kmart hacks, and one of them being the little step stool that we have for Sophie is actually ideal for a toddler to be able to use as a seat and table in the reverse order. So while it's a step and will be used as a step when she's bigger, it's actually a little table for her right now. So she sits next to us when we sit at the coffee table to have a couch meal as opposed to a table meal. And yeah, there's little things like that, and that was, a $15 table that we get to use that's, multi-purpose. My craft area at the moment has been rejigged from what it was, and I went to the tip shop to see if they had any like step stool kind of things, so she could climb up onto the step stool and supposedly sit next to me. Now that isn't necessarily ideal for my current work situation, but she still has a ball putting the step thing down on this Noriko step stool. My husband has 3D printed another step for it because it was missing a plastic cover, so he's printed one of those, and she's been using it. And again, the step stool will have a use. We do have a folding step in the kitchen, but I have dragged this step stool around. It's got the vinyl cover from back in the, 60s. So they're spill proof and everything else. It's got the original label on the underneath and the original store it came from, which coincidentally is kind of in the family relations down the track. It's one of the big furniture stores here, but because Tasmania is so small, it's actually a relative of my husband that owns the store. His grandfather's brother, he says. So yeah, family, but not quite family. But yeah, it came from their store. So that's 2 degrees of separation, I think is what I said. We were talking about degrees of separation in the States, and that they were saying in certain communities it's 3 or 4 degrees. In Tasmania you have 2 degrees of separation. And no kidding, I would quite often go out with my husband, and it started to become a running joke that he would know somebody that we were going out to see because he'd gone to school with them, and yeah, it was getting silly. We couldn't go anywhere without him knowing who was who, or knowing their sibling, and yeah, as I said, 2 degrees of separation. So you got to be careful who you talk about in this state, because chances are you're talking to somebody who knows them. Which is a little bit unfortunate, because when you've got stories to tell, you can't tell them, because somebody will know them. I had somebody that I was dealing with during the week. I was saying to him on the way home, I said, I'd love to tell you these names. You know how they give people these individual names when they're born? Some are more unfortunate than others. So you've got names like Absidy, which looks like A, B, C, D, E. Well, this family had 5 children, and for the life of me now I can't actually remember what their names were of the kids, because they were so different. and not one of them had a normal first name. They were kind of like Rafa Picasso. No, so it might be like Rafasso. So it might be a thing between Raphael and Picasso, and it was just like, what the. Yeah, wasn't even sure I could pronounce these poor kids' names. And when you're in, some of the poorer suburbs, and these kids sometimes end up going through the prison system or the criminal system, you get the first name, middle name, and every other name, so it's like Billy Bob Thornton, was charged with blah blah blah. And actually I remember somebody saying ages and ages ago, criminals always have middle names. My husband doesn't have a middle name, so maybe that means he's never going to be a criminal, but criminals always have middle names, and they always say it in the media for some reason. And maybe it's just so that they don't mix up, David Walsh of this is, not the David Walsh of blah blah, because he's actually David Patrick instead of David John. And I don't know why they give middle names when they do it, but you have a think about it. Any serial killers or anything else in your local neighbourhood? God forbid you have a serial killer in your local neighbourhood, but you know what I mean. Yeah, down at the local corner shop. Yeah, you will know their middle name. Yeah, really, really strange kind of phenomenon, but I think it could be down to an identity thing. I was going to say maybe the presidents are also known by middle names, but they're not, I don't think. Maybe you do have more familiarity when you're over in the States with Barack Obama, but you've got the likes of the Kennedys. So it was John F. Kennedy, and he was famous, being John Fitzgerald, and that kind of thing. They use their initials. I know some of the important people here will use their middle initial. I have a colleague who is, I think he's a third generation name. So he actually is quite proud of, his first name, surname, the third. He's actually American, so maybe there's a legacy there. My traditional thing in my family was the eldest son got the grandfather's name as their middle name. So that's where the Johns and the Patricks and the Davids got passed down in my family. They would be back a bit, and I think one of my brothers actually got my other granddad's name as his middle name, which is quite an unusual middle name. Yeah, but Dad has tracked his family. He hasn't tracked Mum's family. I can't keep track of it all. My husband's mum has tracked hers. Doing okay. But we haven't got history for his dad. Unfortunately, his mum isn't in a position now where she can recall people and places. She had a stroke following a aneurysm operation, so we've lost all those memories. But she had done an awful lot of work on the family tree before her operation. So we have got a lot of it written down, so it's very, very helpful. But my husband says he can track back to founding fathers in the state, and yes, we've got those really cool links on both sides. I think they go back to the original Hobart colonies, but the so there were two original colonies, and there's links to both of them, I think. First settlers is what they call them. He's a first settler descendant on both sides. Not that that would get him into the UK, because you need to have a grandparent. No, you need to have a parent now to be able to claim citizenship in the UK that you used to be able to. Brexit happened today, and the UK is now out on its own, so God knows what's going to happen with that. They never did relinquish their pounds to euro. They always kind of kept themselves a little bit separate. And then we've got the whole Harry and Meghan stepping aside from royal duties, and there's a lot of shaking up happening over there. I don't keep up with all of it, but I do keep up with a little bit. Andrew also got disgraced because he was friends with a pedophile, is that right? There certainly isn't the media frenzy that we suffered with under Charles and Diana's stuff, which is kind of good. So you do see the likes of William and Kate, but it's not as frenzied as it used to be. Royalty is a bit different for us, I suppose, in Tasmania. We have Mary of Denmark, who is a local lass. I know her house in one of the suburbs, and she does visit on occasions, and she met oh gosh, what's his name? Frederick. She met him at the Sydney Hobart yacht race in a pub. All very kind of normal meeting people behaviour. But she was nothing. She was yeah, they met in Sydney, but she was just in the pub, and he was in the pub having done the sailing, and boy meets girl kind of story, and it's all kinds of cool. The media goes a bit crazy when she does get back in town, but she does try and behave as normal as possible, and yeah, lots and lots of local people would know her. Her sister still lives here. Yeah, she's done quite well for herself and establishing herself as royalty in Denmark and learning the language and doing all the duties that she needs to do there. But she's, a local Hobart chick. There's a few of them out there, royalty who marry commoners, and all the protocols that have to be gone through for that kind of hoo-ha. But I reckon they would have had to have vetted potential spouses and make sure that they could actually do the job. I don't think, for want of a better term, you would have a bogan doing a royal job. I think that would have been something that would be looked down on. But I think if you're privileged and you've got that upbringing, you're just going to attract other privilege or other similar ilk. Alright, I'm going to finish this row. I'm going to let you go. A little bit different for me doing crochet. I don't know how much you can see. I know my phone, my camera seems to be fuzzy. I will have to have a look at some settings. But as with any whip and chat, it's more really about the chat than you necessarily watching the details of what I'm doing. Not that it's not about the details, but I didn't need to actually cut that. Oops. Let's try that again. Alright, but there is, so there's my corner, and my graduated, and that's going to be the rest of the strip. Alright, and I will keep going with that colour after I stupidly snipped it, because I'm too busy talking and not concentrating. Put the grey down, and all of that gets bunched up. to sit up and make myself decent. Alright, let me do this. Hello. Yeah, thanks for joining me. Yeah, crochet, as I say, it's a new thing for me, so yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I'm certainly not getting it all right. You just saw me cut the thread, but I didn't need to, so yeah. You never know what a Whip and Chat's going to bring. It could be crochet, it could be cross stitch, and I still have my sassy craft along that I need to get on with. It's all about camera angles for me. It's where I'm going to be working. I can't necessarily work over on the couch because I don't have somewhere to attach cameras. So we'll see how this goes with putting it here. Potentially this worked for now, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Give me some feedback. I know it isn't quite the multi you've got. No, hang on, where am I going? Yes, there, right? You've got, that's my picture from last night. Angles are a little bit different. I'm, yeah, getting to see the picture. And I think Sophie's just woken up. Alright. What's wrong? Oh, were you watching TV and you were just a bit sleepy? Oh, Bluey! We got a box during the week that's got a little orange thing in it. If you've watched Bluey, you'll know what I'm talking about. But that's her birthday present. Her birthday is in March. Sit down, Sophie. Sit. No. Alright. Excuse me. Thanks for watching. Join me on any of my other Whip and Chats or unboxings or whatever. Click subscribe, like. Come and join me on my ride. And thank you for very much for joining me this far on my channel. I'm quite in awe that I'm even at the number that I'm at currently. I think it's 670, give or take 1 or 2. Yeah, it completely blows me away that you guys want to listen to my prattling on, and yeah, hopefully I've got something good to share with you, and you might learn something. If there is something in particular that you want to see with the crochet, you know my camera setup. I will try and do things. If there's something in particular you want to see, I could move cameras and things like that, so let me know. If there is something, don't ask me to do stitches I don't know just yet. It could be a case of, if I learn something new, you come along on the ride, and it's very much going to be learning as I learn, and I'm going to be making hella many mistakes. So feel free to jump on board and do that. If you would like to join the crochet along, as I said, I will link it in the description down below. Come along and join us. We're only 2 strips in. If you've crocheted before, you can absolutely just, fly through it. If you're brand new to it, there are crochet tutorials that you can join in on, and you can catch up, or you can just go at your own pace. And Marissa, as I say, is there for any help that you might want to do along the way. So yeah, come and join us. This isn't only diamond painting, it is crafting, and as people like Mrs. Coffee say, it's all about crafts on her channel, on her Facebook group. If you're a creator, you could come along and join my Facebook group. The link's in the description. If you're a YouTube creator, that is. And that's for any craft. So if you're into crochet or cross stitch or whatever it is as a craft, come along as a creator, because there's things that as creators we do that's slightly different from what a subscriber would be interested in. It's more targeted. It might be tech support, it might be, how do I grow my channel, and we can give you tips and tricks, and and as I've said and other people have said, it's about being consistent. It's about getting a regular lineup, for instance. It's about regular interesting content, and it's very much about you being you. If you have something that's worth saying, people will come along because of who you are. They're not going to come along just because you copy someone. So if you've got your own unique flavour to put onto things, then put it on, because that's what people want to see. Yeah, So if you do want to create and you think, yeah, I could do something, there is something that I do that is unique to me, that it might not be unique to you, but it might be a craft that other people want to learn how to do, whether it's quilling or scrapbooking or whatever it is, there is going to be an avenue. So if you're interested in creating, then please come along to my creator group. You do need to have a YouTube channel established to be able to join. So I very much appreciate if you don't have a channel, please don't join just yet. Get your channel started, do a video or two, come along and then say, okay, I need help. Can you back me up? Can you support me on this? And, you know, we'll give you some tips and tricks and come along and play on the lives and have a chat with us there. And, yeah, grow that way. And take your time. It's not a race. You don't have to have 3,000 subscribers in 3 months. It's not how it works. And it's not how you're going to grow, and it's certainly not how I grew. I've been doing this since April last year. I didn't start consistently. I probably didn't get consistent until maybe June, maybe even June, July, and it was only when I started getting consistent, started getting into a kind of rhythm of work-life YouTube balance, that my subscribers started growing and my content got better and I had more things to share, and you guys started giving me feedback as to what else you might want to see. So please, if there's something that you would like me to do, that you think I'm going to be able to do, hit me up, message me, and if I haven't done it already and you have already told me, hey, could you do this, can you please give me a nudge and remind me? I'm a mom to a toddler and wife and everything else, so I might have forgotten, so please forgive me. Yeah, and I've got to keep the husband in line too. I'm his memory, so please, this brain is only capable of so much, so please, if I haven't done something, please remind me. You're not nagging me. Vegemite challenges are still going out. I put one into a package today. So if you're interested in the Vegemite challenge, please contact me on any of the methods in the description and I will get a package out to you to give it a go. And yeah, you can try some Aussie weird flavours. Yes, it's not going to kill you. You might not like it, but it's not going to kill you. So yeah, be brave if you're interested. So yeah, there you go. I'll let you go. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you around the tubes. Bye.